Hello everyone. Can you people hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Thank you. Okay, so as usual, we'll wait uh, for 1 2 minutes so that other people can also join. Then we'll start. All right. So now many of the people have joined. So let's start with the class. Okay. So who's going to tell me what we have done in the last class? Geez, what we have done in the last class? Who's telling me? Are you people still there? Okay. So किसी को याद नहीं है? Which pile we have finished? Gee, which film we have finished last time?
मैम फाइनल एनालिडा हमने किया था लास्ट टाइम और उससे पहले प्लेटी
Mhm.
हेलमेट्स किया था एंड
Mhm.
या और लास्ट
Okay.
टाइम हम लोगों ने किया था कि व्हाट इज़ देयर इकोनॉमिक इम्पोर्टेंस and what is the economic importance of platy helmets and Annelida. So,
Yes.
yes, uh,
Good. 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 Okay. So we have finished with that activity, and you can submit it, of course.
yes, ma'am.
Right. 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 So all right. All right. So we have done activity. I think. Have you done that activity, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So someone want to share a few points with us? If you remember those, anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Gee, we one, 2 points. If you want to share about any economic importance, maybe Platy, maybe Anelida.
Okay, so, sorry, ma'am. So there are like the first importance that I wrote was that they're important for the marine life, the freshwater and terrestrial ecosystems. They maintain the balance, and then
Yes.
yes, and then they are nutrient sources for other parasites as well, and then they are free living, and then they act as decomposers, and then they feed on dead animal or dead pieces, large pieces in oceans or in all specific type of waters, and then they decompose the dead material. They're also good for land fertility, just because they have this decomposing trait. That is the reason why they're good for land fertility. Another very important factor that they're used for diagnostic purposes, platyhelminths, and then they're good source for good source of food source for other
Mhm.
organisms. Other organisms, they use platyhelminths as their food source, and then platyhelminths have been used
Mm.
for research purposes as well, mainly for regenerative purposes. They human beings are trying to find out that what is that specific gene that allows them to regenerate, and then they're very important for chain cycles as well. They're essential for to maintain the balance in the ecosystem. And then the importance of annelida, that they increase the fertility of soil. They make the soil more fertile, and then again they support terrestrial food chains as prey,
Mm.
and then they also monitor the quality of marine and fresh water, and they moisturize the soil as well. They penetrate the plant roots, and then they improve the soil fertility, and then they eliminate the pests such like nematodes in the soil, एंड बग्स दैट लिव इन लिटर, वो उनको रिड्यूस करते हैं, एनालिडास उनको रिड्यूस करते हैं, एनालिड्स. और फिर दे ऑल्सो रिड्यूस द डिपेंडेंस ऑन हाई कॉस्ट इनपुट्स इन प्रोडक्शन ऑफ फर्टिलाइजर्स. अब जो फार्मर्स हैं, दे if there's a high amount of annelidas in the soil, then they don't have to use fertilizers, because annelids are doing their
Mm.
job. They're making the soil more fertile, and then they're good for growth of plant, because they're eating the pests, etc. as well. Again, they are a very important food source for birds, for mammals, and for aquarium
Mm.
fishes. And then they're used, as baits. Whenever we go for fishing, we use them on the hook of
Yes.
with which we catch the fishes. We use them on the hook, and then yes, they are also used for diagnostic purposes. They're used for reducing the size and finally removing the bladder stones, like
Mm.
in jaundice, etc., and then piles, etc.
Okay.
That's it,
Hey,
ma'am.
wow, wow, very good, very good. You worked so hard, Anya. Great, great,
Thank
great.
you.
जबरदस्त जबरदस्त पूरी समरी कर दी आपने बहुत अच्छी से. Thank you for
Okay.
us. Eh?
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, 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 okay. चलो जी, well done. चलो जी, आगे चलें फिर. हाँ, चले हमारे लिए
अच्छा।
जो है ना, हानिया ने फुल समरी कर दिया, ठीक है। तो आई होप कि बाकी लोगों ने भी कर लिया होगा काम, तो सबमिट इन दिस वे। So let's now go for next phylum, and that is arthropoda. So I share my screen, and then so let me share my screen first, my PowerPoint. Okay, so here's my PowerPoint. It's actually it's not created by me. This is something I borrowed from Corbus.com, is a website which shares it was freely available on internet. Because it was having so good pictures, so I have decided to use this. So phylum Arthropoda. As you can see, a huge variety of organisms here, like crabs, like worm, like very small ones, very transparent bodies, a dragonfly. You can see this one maybe you have seen in your backyards or so. Then there are different types of these spiders. There you can see the organisms are looking like some lights below. So here you can see one stick insect that is basically hiding itself into the small tree branches. So there's a huge variety of organisms that are associated with that are included in this phylum, Arthropoda. So Arthropoda means what? Arthro means jointed. Poda means feet. So these are the organisms which are having jointed appendages, legs and we can say they are having pairs of legs which are jointed, which are having many joints. Like here you can see in this picture that joint is there, another joint is here, another joint is here. So in each leg there are many joints, and in each other body part like this extension of the tail, you can see also many points. Look at this one. Here you can see also joints in the legs, joints in the mouth parts. Okay, here too and here too, everywhere. So they are having jointed feet, and this is that's why they are called arthropoda. Then this is the largest phylum, largest in terms of number of species, which are included in this phylum. Some this number you can see here actually is now increased more, 900,000 even. Till now, this is maybe old information. Now there are more species, more than 10,000, 10,000 species are there, including in. These actually makes about 75% of all known species. We talk about known species that we know that these are identified them some species. This phylum includes 75% of all known species, and remaining 25% are all other organisms, all other animals. This is something incredible. Then one of their groups called insects. They are making actually the largest numbers. Insects makes 75% of all of the known species on Earth. Sorry, 50% of all species on Earth. So 50% are insects only, which is one group of arthropoda, and remaining 25% are all other arthropods. So arthropoda making 75% of all known species. Among those, 50% belong to insects. So these are very widespread organisms, and the numbers are much more than all other animals. Why this is so? We actually um, talk about a few points which are very important, which are their specific characteristics which make them this much successful group of animals on Earth. So we'll talk about them later. But see which others are included. Spiders. Spiders are also part of this group. Crustaceans, millipedes, scorpions, ticks, mites, etc. There's a very big group. The butterflies, honeybees, insects. There's a very big group. Now, these are the most successful phylum. This phylum is considered to be the most successful phylum on Earth. They are ecologically diverse. These are present in almost all kinds of environments, all kinds of ecosystems. They are present in all regions on Earth. These are adapted to air. Many of them fly, like you see dragonfly, land, see spider, freshwater, in sea, on the trees. It's arboreal. Arboreal means that they live on the trees. Here you can see a larva living inside the ground. I mean, inside the soil, marine and seawater. They are everywhere. There is no environment yet known which is not explored by these organisms. So they are highly successful in terms of numbers and in terms of ecological diversity that they're present everywhere. Now, what are their reasons for the success? Why they are so successful? There are six reasons. There may be more, but these six are very important. We'll talk about them. Honestly. They are having a versatile exoskeleton. Here you can see this shiny external layer is their exoskeleton. Efficient locomotion is second important characteristics. Of course, when they have to explore all the habitats, they should have very good locomotion, that is movement. They are having very good, excellent form of locomotion or the movement. Then air is piped directly to their cells. This is called their respiratory system is called tracheal system. Tracheae are tubes. Trachea, trachea, they are tubes through which air directly enters, and air is responsible for that respiration. Their respiration, that is exchange of gases. So that is a very efficient system in comparison to our respiratory system, which is using fluids indeed, that is blood and respiratory fluids. This is more efficient because air is much lighter medium. Then they are having highly developed sensory organs. So they can very easily record the environment and respond to it. Complex behavior, complex behavior help them in surviving in their environment better in comparison to others. Metamorphosis, they actually go through various life forms. So competition between the members of the species is actually reduced. This also helps us. So let's elaborate on these points now. First point is exoskeleton. They are having an external skeleton, um, which is not enveloped by living tissue. This is meant for protection. Here you can see in a diagram. And this is the layer epithelium, the skin layer, and outside epithelium or epidermis, we are having this thick layer that is making their exoskeleton. The procuticle is the first part, which is you can see thick non-living tissue. Then epicuticle, the external part, and that is actually the whole of it. This thick part is secreted by the underlying epidermis. So epidermis or epithelium, which is otherwise should be the externalmost layer, the skin, it actually secretes this exoskeleton. This is a waterproof barrier. Number one, this is waterproof. So you can see the insects flying in the air in rain and are not affected by the rain. You can see cockroaches coming out of the drainage pipes where there's a lot of water, but they are not affected. This is basically a waterproof barrier. It protects them from water. It's a huge advantage. Now this skeleton consists of chitin. Chitin is basically a large carbohydrate, complex carbohydrate, and have some lipids too. And then uh, sometimes calcium is also associated with it. In some species, calcium is there. In some species, calcium is not uh, present inside. And lipoprotein. So chitin and lipoprotein, these two things are there. And sometimes calcium is also present. When calcium is present, it will be more hard, just like a bones. Then the modifications, there can be sites for muscle attachments. This also provides some sites for muscle attachment. Muscles could be attached, like muscles for the wings, muscles of the legs, or so. Uh, there may be energy stores associated to this which are associated with flying. If there are flying insects or flying arthropods, they may have energy stores associated with that. Like some extended part may have some kind of energy rich compounds over it. Then sensory receptors are present inside. Thus, when gas exchange, when they have to exchange gases, there must be pores inside this skin. And why? Because definitely we know that this is hard and this is tough. And if there is no pore or specific space, then what will happen? That how air will enter. So there should be pores for uh, entry of the air, and those are called spiracles. Then bristles are there. You can see uh, these seta hair-like structures. Then bristles, thin hair-like structures might be present. So there are two layers of this exoskeleton: epicuticle, external one; procuticle, the lower one, and then comes the epidermis. So this exoskeleton is actually providing them huge protection from environmental hazards and from enemies as well. This is an advantage. So which is soft and permeable or hard and impermeable? What happened that on the top, on the surface of the segments or the legs, mostly this is hard, but between the appendages or between the segments of the body, this is thin and flexible. Now what happened that the joints will have to move. When joints will have to move, for example, if it is moving its leg, joints will not be able to move if it is hard or permeable. So on joints, this is generally thin and flexible. But when on the top, like segment here, this will be hard. But where there is a joint, like this is the first segment, this is the second. In between these two, there will be a soft, thin, and flexible part. So it means that exoskeleton have variation. It is hard in the main structure, and where there is a joint, it is thin and flexible to allow the movement. Now, what is the disadvantage? Disadvantage is this that this must be shed for to allow growth, and this is relatively heavy. Of course, you can see this is a very uh, big layer, so definitely it must be heavy, and it must be shed to allow growth. So when they have to grow, this um, will have to be shed. That is because this is hard, particularly on the top of these segments. This is hard and impermeable. So this have to be shed if growth has to be. That's why, due to these two disadvantages, the size of these organisms is generally smaller. Evolution says that their size remains small because they have to shed the skeleton to grow every time. And of course, this is not easy. It's tough. And secondly, this is relatively heavy. So it limits the size of these organisms. So there are two advantages and two disadvantages. Then the efficient locomotion. Second important property is their efficient locomotion. Due to these jointed appendages, what happened that they can move very fast. They can move very fast and they can explore almost all kinds of habitats. Like due to these jointed appendages, they can climb a tree very easily because there are joints in the appendages, help them for greater flexibility. Um, Due to which they can actually like climb the tree. If a rock is there, if an uneven surface comes, they can easily go inside and explore that. Then they are having also different types of mouth parts which help them in um, uh, in actually acquiring different types of food. You can see the mandible, jaw, the lower jaw, crushing food, maxilla, the upper jaw for food handling. Then uh, this maxilla help them drawing water into the gills if they are living in the water. These are crayfish mouth parts basically. And there are different other parts which are flexible due to the having joints. Due to these joints and flexibility, both they can actually uh, they have efficient locomotion and even acquiring the food more. Then the tracheal system. They can breathe directly air, and they can exchange gases. Their body can exchange gases directly with the air. We can say that air is piped directly to the cells. This is much more efficient than all other invertebrates. Here you can see, uh, just observe this whole system in blue color, bluish tubes. One tube is going on the top, the other is going in the base on the other side. Here again on the top, the other is going on the base. This side which is shown is dorsal, and the other side which is not visible here is ventral. So this whole system is basically a system of very organized system of tubes, um, with lots and lots of, here you can see the extensions towards the body, which is called tracheal system. Trachea means tube, trachea means tube. So system of tubes. There is dorsal trachea on the top of it, on both sides. There is a ventral trachea on both sides, and there are huge number of extensions. Here you can see spiracles. Basically, these are the openings towards exterior. So all these spiracles are there on the side of the body, around abdomen, and then around thoracic area too. And then there are extensions. So air enters through these spiracles and move around in all these tubes, and exchange of gases takes place between the tissues and this air directly. So this is basically very, very efficient because air is the lightest medium. Air is, of course, lighter than even water or blood of any other organism. That's why this exchange of gases is very fast. And this is one of their huge advantage for, we can say, high metabolic activity that actually lead towards their, their diverse functions, due to which they survive better in the environment. And disadvantage is this, that it again limits the size. Because what happened that this system of tubes is not efficient enough for a larger body. If body is large, then for circulation, because cells will be far away from each other, then this system of tubes will not be enough to deal with the whole of the body. And definitely they will be needing blood and the closed circulatory systems. So this is the second reason to limit size of the arthropods, and this is the reason that arthropods, these two are the reasons, like the exoskeleton and the tracheal system, that they actually, their size is actually limited. This is what evolution tells us. Third important feature is their highly developed sense organs. They are having sense organs for sight, touch, smell, hearing, balance, chemical reception, and even many more. Here you can see two examples. One is there's a hair-like extension called seta, which are extended outside their body, and their displacement, for example, this is like a hair. So if direction of wind is coming from this side, direction of wind is towards this side, this will be displaced here. If direction of wind is from this side, this will be displaced on the other side. In either case, this will send a message to the cell present inside. This is a receptor cell, and a nerve cell, and this is associated with an axon which goes towards the brain. So what happened that due to deflection of this, a message is sent to the brain, and they can guess by this the direction of wind, for example, if an enemy is coming towards them and deflecting the air and so on. So this help as a sensory organ, sensing the environment. Then here you can see the other one is eye. They are having a lens, hypodermis, light sensitive cells are there, which are associated with the neurons and goes to the brain, sending nerve impulses. They are having another insects particularly are having what we call compound eyes. This kind of, so many lenses are there, hundreds of lenses are there. So they can see the world as a mosaic. Every lens, every you know this kind of we can say part is making another image of the uh, world, and then all images are joined in the brain. So they may have a single eye like this, or they may have more than one eye, compound eye, in which many units like this are there. So they are having, just like that, they are having organs for touch, smell, hearing, balance, chemical reception, and so on. They are highly responsive to the environment. That's why they can record almost everything which is happening in the environment and respond to that. And this actually helps them in surviving better and, of course, increase their numbers in the environment. Then the complex behavioral pattern. See, they have complex organized activity. Here you can see a honeybee, picture of a honeybee. These behaviors may be innate, that is unlearned or learned. Now, what happened? That I hope everyone remembers that honeybees are living in colonies. The comb, the honeycomb, have highly organized system present among these organisms. Like there is a queen bee, which lays eggs. There is a king bee, who produces sperms, and there are worker bees, which are going and collecting the food, and then there are larvae, which are housed in proper uh, sections, and these worker bees collect nectar or food for them, and then provide them with that food. Just like that, um, they are the worker bees. Some of them are defenders. So whenever someone attacks their comb, they attack back in groups on that enemy, which is disturbing their comb. So there's a complete system, the conflict, including complex activity inside their comb. Just like, so that's why we call them sometimes social insects. Social insects. You may have heard of this term. Why? Because they are having a complete society in which they are working in collaboration, and making that whole uh, comb working. Just like that, if we see termites, they are also having a similar type of system. If you look at other organisms belonging to this phylum, they are also having complex behavior. Now, this complex behavior helps them in surviving as a society, surviving better, because they can compete with others for food. They can defend their self inside that home, or maybe any other place where they are living. So they can defend themselves collectively, and also collect the food collectively. If one is knowing that there is a food in a place, they can make calls, and the other people, the other members of the community, the other organisms of the same species can hear those calls and then can go and collect the food from the same place. So this cooperative behavior again help them in surviving better. Now these behaviors may be innate, unlearned. Some behavior are unlearned; they know it from the birth, or some are learned. Some they can modify and change their behaviors. For example, if they are not getting one type of food, then they will find the other food, which could be learned. But they have to get the food. This is unlearned, innate. Then the last point is the limited intraspecific competition. Intraspecific within the species. So within one species, they are actually going through what we call metamorphosis. Now, metamorphosis means that first of all, egg is adult lay eggs. Eggs will be converted into larvae, and those larvae will change shapes again. One larva will become another larva, another form of larva, another form of larva, then pupa. Sometimes there is only one larva. Still, pupa will become adult. So there are various life forms in the same group of organisms or species. This actually reduces or limits the intraspecific competition, that is, competition between members of the same species. Why? Well, see, eggs are present on another place. If they are living on a plant, for example, eggs will be placed on another place, like lower side of the leaves. Larvae, they'll be moving around all the places here and there because they are fast feeders and they feed upon leaves, etc., and they move very fast. Then pupae, these are simply hanging down the branches. Then if we see the adult, it's mostly flying here and there. If we if we look at all of these, they are actually on the same plant, for example, living in on different places. So there is no competition for the shelter or the place. Then all are feeding, the pupa is not feeding at all. Larvae are feeding, eggs are not feeding. Adult is feeding on something else. Larvae are feeding on something else. This again reduces the competition among members of the species for food as well. These are the two things for which generally animals compete: food and shelter. So they are not competing for the food, they are not competing for the shelter. This actually also help them in increasing number and occupying the same place and its different sections. So this gives them another advantage that competition among the members of the same species is almost negligible or reduced. So that metamorphosis help them in this way that the competition among species members of the same species, interspecific competition is reduced. Um, so these six reasons, go back, are actually reasons for their success. So the versatile exoskeleton, the efficient locomotion due to jointed appendages, the tracheal system, the air is piped directly, so the respiration is very efficient. Highly developed sense organs to record the environment and respond to that. The complex behavior which help them in protection and cooperative living in some way, we can say they are living in cooperation, and the metamorphosis that reduces the competition for food and shelter among members of the same species. So these are they're considered to be the reasons of success, but of course there may be more. So here they are putting few questions for you. So can you answer these? What is the metamorphosis and why has it contributed to its success? What phylum is most closely related to arthropoda? And which of the following is not an arthropod? I leave these questions for you. And this was the um, topic for today that we are covering today. This is not actually an activity, this one, but this will be part of the PowerPoint that I'll upload. So try to solve this. Okay? If you are not able to, then talk to me. So any questions regarding this? Any questions if someone have from the talk today? जी
मैम ये आर्थ्रोपोडा कंप्लीट हो गया है।
नहीं अभी नहीं ये जरा लंबा है इसको जरा ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा
ओके मैम।
हाँ अभी हमने मेन इसकी रीजंस फॉर सक्सेस की हैं अब इनकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स करेंगे और फिर क्लासिफिकेशन भी करेंगे
जी ओके।
हाँ तो थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा एक क्लास में अगर हो गया तो ग्रेट अगर ना हुआ तो शायद एक क्लास और उस पर लग जाए एज यू नो मैंने कहा कि दिस इज द लार्जेस्ट फाइलम सो दिस विल टेक मोर
यस
टाइम
मैम।
हाँ इसके सब फाइला भी हैं कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स बहुत ज्यादा हैं so
मैम
it
ये
takes
याद हो जाएगा।
I hope so I hope so this is
ओके।
interesting one ये
यस मैम।
इंटरेस्टिंग है जब भी पढ़ोगे तो आप मजे से पढ़ोगे इंशाल्लाह I hope so
यस मैम।
and there are good characteristics too बस ये एक ही फाइल है जो इतना लंबा बाकी सब तो छोटे छोटे हैं
यस मैम।
जी any other questions someone do have a question or so
और मैम जो हमारा लैब असाइनमेंट है आपने हमने कल जो क्लास मतलब लैब में किया था उसमें जिस तरह हमने पहले फाइलम्स के साथ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स लिखे थे तो इसमें भी हम ड्रॉ करके और प्रॉपर उसके जो हमें कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स नजर आ रहे हैं वो लिखेंगे
हाँ बिल्कुल सेम थिंग इन सेम वे बिल्कुल
थैंक यू
okay so quiz someone is asking about the quiz what happened that I first finished this phylum and then we will decide about the quiz सो अभी
यस
नेक्स्ट
मैम।
जो वीक है उसमें भी अगर हुआ भी तो बिल्कुल एंड पर होगा फ्राइडे को और या फिर नेक्स्ट मंडे को प्रॉब्लली आई एम प्लानिंग
ओके मैम।
नेक्स्ट मंडे इज मोर मोर प्रॉबल so let's see क्योंकि ये है कि हम trying because this is now online only completely for everyone and you will not be there but I'll try to take you on call next Monday yeah ये वाला नहीं इससे अगला वाला इससे अगला वाला So what I'm thinking that I'll take you guys on the call as well. that you're doing the quiz and you're there on the call. इसका एडवांटेज ये होगा कि अगर आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम वहां पे आ रहा है तो फिर मैं आपको हेल्प कर सकती हूँ क्योंकि
एक्सक्यूज
जी 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 मौसम।
जी, ये जो लैब 4 है
हम्म।
उसके बारे में पूछना था कि पोरीफिरा की हमने स्पीशीज जो सी है ड्रॉ करनी है।
अ, हमने मेरे ख्याल से लास्ट टाइम जो देखे हैं वो हैं प्लेटी हेलमिंथीज और एनिलिडा, और उसके बाद बल्कि हमने आर्थ्रोपोडा और मोलस्का को भी देख लिया था।
नहीं, इधर मूडल के ऊपर आपने लैब एक्टिविटी 4 लिखी थी तो।
मूडल के ऊपर, हाँ हाँ हाँ, मूडल के ऊपर मैंने 1 by 1 बनाई थी कि 2 phyla in each activity. That was my plan. But some students want that they will submit the whole notebook at the same time. तो मुझे उसमें भी कोई ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं है, मैं उसके लिए एक सेपरेट एक्टिविटी बना दूंगी। तो अगर आप चाहते हैं कि आप पहले पूरी कॉपी बना लें फिर उसको स्कैन करके अपलोड कर दें तो आप ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं।
क्योंकि वो जो आपने लिंक्स शेयर किए थे उधर तो पोरीफिरा की कोई स्पीशी नहीं थी, मतलब म्यूजियम में भी, यूनिवर्सिटी के, और फेसबुक पर जो पेज थे।
अच्छा,
जी।
साइट्स पर नहीं है। अच्छा चले फिर मैं ऐसा करती हूँ,
पोरीफिरा
अपलोड कर
फाइलम
देती
से,
हूँ।
मुझे
मैं
पोरीफिरा
अपलोड
फाइलम।
कर देती हूँ पूरी प्रोफाइल से। अच्छा चले मैं फिर अपलोड कर देती हूँ, मैं देख लेती हूँ, हो
और
सकता है
इसके
मिस हो
अलावा,
गया हो ये।
अच्छा, इसके अलावा आप ये बता सकती हैं टोटल नंबर ऑफ स्पीशीज जो डिस्कवर हुई हैं वो कितनी है अब तक?
अब तक एग्जैक्टली असल में मुझे इस वक्त याद नहीं है ऑनेस्टली, तो
क्योंकि
बट आई
इंटरनेट पे
ट्राई।
किधर 2 मिलियन कहते हैं, किधर मतलब आगे पीछे कह रहे होते हैं।
हाँ, 2 मिलियन के अराउंड कहते हैं वैसे नॉर्मली, लेकिन अब इससे काफी ज्यादा है, इससे काफी
मैम
ज्यादा
थ्री
है
पॉइंट फाइव मिलियन है।
हाँ
3.5 मिलियन।
3.5 मिलियन, हाँ बिल्कुल वही ना, डिफरेंट नंबर्स होते हैं,
तो
वेरिएशन
अगर
है।
अगर मैं चलें, अगर 3.5 मिलियन है तो ये आर्थ्रोपोडा किंगडम अप्रोक्सीमेटली 1 मिलियन है, ये इससे मोर।
1 मिलियन, 1 मिलियन से ज्यादा है, 1 मिलियन से ज्यादा है। तो
चले
ये
वन
क्योंकि ये समझा जाता है
Roughly
कि
यार,
अप्रोक्सीमेटली अप्रोक्सीमेटली 75% है आर्थ्रोपोडा और 50% तो इंसेक्ट ही हैं खाली। तो अगर 2 मिलियन समझी जाए तो समझे 1 मिलियन तो इंसेक्ट होंगे,
यस
और
ठीक है।
500 मिलियन जो है वो बाकी आर्थ्रोपोड्स, ये स्पाइडर्स और मिलीपीड्स, देखना नंबर कितना ज्यादा है। स्पाइडर्स हैं, मिलीपीड्स हैं, सेंटीपीड्स हैं ना, फिर वाटर इंसेक्ट्स हैं, बड़ी वैरायटी है। हाँ बहुत वैरायटी है इनके अंदर, दैट्स वाई प्रॉब्ली। लेकिन मुझे नहीं पता ये नंबर चेंज भी हो सकता है क्योंकि हर वक्त स्पीशीज डिस्कवर होती रहती हैं।
वो ये लिखा हुआ
मैं
था
एक
कि 15 मिलियन स्पीशीज है, लेकिन 2 मिलियन उसमें से सिर्फ अभी तक आइडेंटिफाइड है।
जो कम्प्लीटली वेरीफाइड है वो मेरा
जी।
ख्याल है 2 या 2.5 मिलियन, ये दो नंबर्स मिलते हैं मुख्तलिफ जगहों पे, और एग्जैक्टली सेम नंबर नहीं मिलता वैसे। लेकिन 2-3 ऑथेंटिक साइट्स हैं वो मैं आपको शेयर करूंगी, उस पे आप देखें तो आपको अ, मिलेगा जो प्रॉपर क्या ना टेक्सोनॉमिक सिस्टम को फॉलो करती हैं, टेक्सोनॉमी को। वो 2-3 साइट्स हैं, तो वहां पे आपको एक्चुअल जो रिकॉर्डेड नंबर क्या लें, आइडेंटिफाइड नंबर क्या लें, वो मिलता है।
तो ये जो हमने
वो मैं शेयर करूंगी।
900,000 स्पीशीज पढ़ी हैं, ये आर्थ्रोपोडा की थी, ये पीछे जो 900,000।
हाँ हाँ ये, हाँ ये 800 प्रोडक्ट, ये पुरानी इन्फॉर्मेशन है थोड़ी सी, अभी
ठीक है।
दायरा इससे ज्यादा होंगी, अब 1 मिलियन या इससे ज्यादा होंगी मोस्ट प्रोबेबली, क्योंकि आइडेंटिफाई होती रहती है ना नई हर वक्त, एक्सप्लोर तो करते रहते हैं लोग डिफरेंट एरियाज को, जब नया एरिया एक्सप्लोर करते हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ नया मिल जाता है।
तो अगर 1 मिलियन है तो वो तो फिर 50% बनती हैं टोटल
हाँ
पॉपुलेशन, टोटल स्पीशीज से।
हाँ, क्योंकि ये उस हिसाब से है कि क्या कहना चाहिए, दिस इज ओल्डर
75 किसको
इन्फॉर्मेशन।
कह रहे हैं फिर?
हो
ये
सकता है कि उस वक्त, हो सकता है कि उस वक्त जो टोटल आइडेंटिफाइड स्पीशीज है, जबकि ये पावर पॉइंट है, इट्स नॉट दैट न्यू, क्योंकि मैंने कहा था ना ये मेरी नहीं है, मैंने भी खुद नहीं बनाई, मुझे पिक्चर्स बहुत अच्छी लगी इसलिए मैंने कहा था कि विल यूज दिस। तो लेकिन ये है कि मोस्ट प्रोबेबली उस वक्त आइडेंटिफिकेशन इतनी ना हो और इससे कम हो, क्योंकि मुझे याद है कि दैट दैट टाइम इट वाज 1.5 मिलियन और समथिंग लाइक दैट, जबकि ये रिकॉर्डिंग है। तो अब जो स्पीशीज का नंबर है, ये मेरा ख्याल है कि इससे काफी ज्यादा है, 2.5 ये है या फिर 3.5 है, इन दोनों में से कोई एक। तो उस लिहाज से ये 900,000 नहीं होंगे, बल्कि अब इससे ज्यादा हो गए होंगे, क्योंकि इंसेक्ट भी हर वक्त आइडेंटिफाई होते रहते हैं,
ठीक है।
पर्टिकुलरली इंसेक्ट्स।
थैंक यू।
सबसे ज्यादा एनिमल आइडेंटिफिकेशन है ना, वो इंसेक्ट्स की होती है। नए इंसेक्ट हर वक्त कोई ना कोई मिलते रहते हैं, तो वो नंबर बढ़ता रहता है।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम।
वालेकुम जी अर्शा।
मैम मैंने पूछना था, ये जो आज क्वेश्चंस हैं ये हमें असाइनमेंट की तरह बना के आपको मॉडल पे सबमिट करवाने हैं?
नहीं 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 नहीं, ये सबमिशन के लिए नहीं है, जस्ट फॉर फॉर फन,
यस
वैसे ही करने के लिए आप देखिए, इंटरेस्टिंग, जस्ट फॉर इंटरेस्ट।
थैंक
ये
यस
यू।
मैम,
असाइनमेंट
ये
नहीं
तो गुड है।
है। बहुत असाइनमेंट्स हो गए पहले, लेकिन ये है कि फाइलम के बाद हम करेंगे असाइनमेंट करेंगे, जब फाइनल फिनिश हो जाएगा ना फिर उसके बाद रखते
थैंक यू
ओके
मैम।
मैम।
हैं। जी, और किसी को पूछना है कुछ?
इब्राहिम माइक में बोलो, कुछ नहीं होता।
इब्राहिम क्या हुआ? असाइनमेंट, अभी अभी असाइनमेंट, आज कोई असाइनमेंट नहीं है, आज कोई असाइनमेंट नहीं है, सो डोंट वरी। मैंने सिर्फ ये
मैम,
क्वेश्चंस पोस्ट किए, मैं पीपीटी अपलोड करूंगी, वैसे सॉल्व कर लें तो, लेकिन ये असाइनमेंट नहीं है, राइट? क्वेश्चंस मैंने वैसे ही कहा है कि वैसे ही जस्ट फॉर फन यू कैन डू दैट, इट्स नॉट असाइनमेंट। ये असाइनमेंट जब दूंगी, जब ये खत्म होगा आपका ये फाइलम, अभी तो 2 क्लासेस लगेंगी इस पर, फिर खत्म होगा ये। ऑलराइट, तो से गुड बाय फॉर टुडे, फॉर वीकेंड। वैसे तो अब आगे भी कुछ टाइम लगेगा।
मैम
हाँ जी,
वीकेंड में ज्यादा
अब ना,
असाइनमेंट्स मिल जाती हैं।
हाँ नहीं नहीं, मैं नहीं दे रही आज। मैं नहीं दे रही आज, एंजॉय करें वीकेंड
थैंक
मेरी
यू
तरफ से।
मैम। थैंक यू सो
हाँ,
मच।
ओके ओके। आमिना, आपकी अटेंडेंस मार्क होगी। एक्चुअली क्या है कि जितने आप लोग स्क्रीन पे अपीयर हो रहे हैं ना, बिकॉज इट्स रिकॉर्डेड, तो ये सारे मेरे पास नाम आ गए हैं। आप जिस वक्त भी ज्वाइन करें ना, जल्दी या लेट, मेरे पास ना सबके नाम आ जाते हैं। और मैं क्या करती हूँ कि स्क्रीन का, टू बी ऑन सेफ साइड, इफ रिकॉर्डिंग मिस विस ना हो जाए, मैं स्क्रीन शॉट्स भी लेके रख लेती हूँ डिफरेंट टाइम्स पे। जैसे एक मैंने शुरू में लिया, एक मिनट में लिया, एक अब एंड पे ले लिया, तो इस तरह से वो सारे मेरे पास सेव हो जाते हैं। और ये चैट भी रिकॉर्ड होती है। अगर आपको कुछ लेट ज्वाइन किया, इफ यू आर फीलिंग दैट योर अटेंडेंस may not be marked, you can just write down your name in the chat. This chat is also recorded. Okay, so attendance marked already. I attended, at least I take it thrice so that no one is missed. Okay, ji. So goodbye for today. Class is over, and inshallah I'll meet on Monday.
अल्लाह
I
हाफिज
love
मैम।
you. Allah
अल्लाह
Hafiz.
हाफिज मैम।
अल्लाह
Allah Hafiz,
हाफिज़
beta.
मैम।
खुदा
Allah Hafiz,
हाफिज मैम।
beta. Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz. Hafiz.
अल्लाह हाफिज इब्राहिम।
अल्लाह हाफिज मैम।
Allah Hafiz, beta.
अल्लाह हाफिज फातिमा।
Allah Hafiz, everybody. say, say it combined to everyone.
ओके मैम,
Okay,
बाय।
so okay, bye. Finish the call.